when we first had you guys come out, Harley hadn't used the back stairs confidently for months, really, at this point. Going up the stairs has always been a bit of an issue. She has some anxiety around utilizing the stairs, coming up them, but she also started to develop anxiety about going down them, which was really when I started to become concerned, because going down them, that's when she could have a fall. And that's what really worried me. I didn't want to come home to her trying to get down the stairs to use that backyard and having slipped and fallen. And what I noticed within a couple of weeks of her using the dog cloud bed was that she was confident to go back down the stairs. And we did have an incident, well, we had two actually, where she came back up them, and she hadn't done that in months. It was an elation for the whole family almost. It was so, the kids were screaming. They're like, yay, Harley! Like, we were so happy for her that and it was this old behavior that had come back in where she just went up them. We didn't have to give her treats or try and coerce her in any other way. She went up them the same way she would have previously. Hadn't done it for months. So in terms of mobility, I really think that it was within the first 3 or 4 days that we started to see a significant improvement. So the first 24 hours was us sitting with her on the bed, her getting comfortable with the bed. By day 2, day 3, we started to see her managing that. Like, we would still need to get her on the bed, but she'd stay. So if we left, she'd stay, which was great. By day 4, we did start to notice, so she'd quite consistently lift that back left leg when she would walk around throughout the day. That always caused her a bit of an issue, but we started to notice her placing that back down. And not maybe necessarily grounding down through it, putting weight through it by day 4, but feeling comfortable enough to not have it lifted. I think that lift was almost a protection mechanism. Having her just even placing it down was a huge amount of reassurance for us. And then as the days continued, we saw her consistently doing that. Then we saw weight going down into that leg, which was evidence enough to us to say she's getting some benefit out of that bed, for sure. So one of the things when you first came and that we videoed that very first time was the sort of sadness. I felt like she was really sad. I felt like she felt a little bit lost in that she knew she didn't have that trust within herself anymore, within her body and within her back legs. And something that we have noticed over the course of the last few weeks is that her mood does seem better. She just seems more happy. So I do attribute that to the fact that she feels like she's getting a little bit more strength through the back of those legs. Her mobility's a little bit better. And of course I attribute that to her time on this bed, on the dog cloud bed. Harley would always play soccer with Flynn in the backyard, and she had really stopped doing that probably for a couple of months, mainly because he comes home from school in the afternoon and that's when she's the most tired. And she has started playing with him again, and he loves that. He really gets so much joy out of kicking his soccer ball and having her chase him. We're a family unit and she's part of that family unit. And it was really sad to see how the lack of her mobility was impacting on the kids. That was probably one of the things that was really starting to break my heart, is also the realization that maybe she doesn't have that many months or years left back with us. To be coming out the back of that with having a dog that has regained her mobility, but most importantly, seeing that emotional well-being coming back into play, that restores such faith in us. Like, we've still got many years ahead with her. Looking at these numbers, I mean, it kind of blows me away, because if we were to go out and pay for this kind of massage therapy externally, I don't know what they charge out at, but I'm looking at these numbers and I've got this at home for a fraction of the price. I mean, if we work on numbers like $100, let's say, for a 30-minute massage, that's $3,000 that I've saved over the course of the last few weeks. And she gets to do it here in her home. I don't have to trouble her taking her out anywhere. And she can do it at a time that's convenient for me and a time that's convenient for her. She's learned how to self-regulate, how to get on the bed, get off the bed. I think she also knows when the times of the massages are, because there are times where she still follows me around the house and then she just disappears. And it seems to conveniently be at the time when she's like, oh, it's time for my massage, catch you later, which is great. I love that. So we had an incident midway through us having the bed where somebody, I don't know who, but somebody in this household unplugged the bed, to plug in their own device. I have my sneaking suspicions, but the bed wasn't operating for about 3 or 4 days. And I really saw her very, very quickly go backwards. It didn't dawn on me that the bed wasn't plugged in at that time, but she started lifting that hind leg again. She seemed really sad again. And I was walking down the hallway and I was like, hang on a second, that green light, why is that green light not where it would normally be? And that's when I realized that the bed had been unplugged. And she'd still been laying on it. She'd spent significant periods of time on it, sleeping on it at night. I plugged that bed back in, immediately massage kicked off, she was on the bed. And within probably, I'm going to say 48 hours, where we were before the bed was unplugged is exactly where we ended up again. And that right there solidified for me how massively important the Dog Cloud bed has been for her health and well-being. Her legs started going back down. She'd stopped using the stairs again. I thought, oh, here we go. Straight back to where we started from. She started using the stairs again. She started placing weight back down that leg again. And that is pretty much all the evidence that I need to confirm how valuable this bed has been in her life. If this was more of a manual situation where I had to sit next to the bed and turn it on, or even if it was a situation where I had to sit with her every time she needed to have a massage, I wouldn't have clocked up 33,000 hours on this bed, I'll guarantee it. Minutes, 33,000 minutes on this bed, I guarantee it. I don't have the time necessarily. I've got 2 small children, I run 2 businesses, to sit and do a therapy session with her 4 times a day, even though it's only 20 minutes, but to do it at a regulated time every single day, I'm not always around to do it. The convenience of having an automated system means that once she's comfortable with it, which took no time at all, I was no longer relying on myself to make sure those massages were clocked in. She was comfortable with the bed. We placed it in a position that made her really happy. And then we left it up to her to manage her own massage therapy. And it's worked beautifully. I probably wouldn't have even bothered getting a system that or getting a product that required me to manually do it, because I feel like that just would have been a waste of money in the end. If someone was to come to me and talk about similar issues that we have had with Harley, talking about hind leg issues or arthritis in the body, I think my recommendation would be, have you considered getting something like the Dog Cloud bed? Or specifically getting the Dog Cloud bed. We have seen massive benefit in it. It is not necessarily the only solution. You're going to need to bring other things into it quite possibly, and you want to be working with your vet. But I think that having the regular massage on her, we've seen a huge improvement in that. And so I would definitely recommend that somebody do some investigation into Dog Cloud specifically to see if it's the right solution for them. So we have tried cortisone shots in her leg. We have tried different supplements for her. And the vet told us this as well. Everything will work for a period of time and then it will not keep working. The consistency that we have seen is the bed gets turned off. She starts lifting that back leg. She starts being scared of the stairs. The bed gets turned back on. And miraculously, she is doing the things that she was doing before the bed was switched off. Whereas we have been doing the supplement road now for about a year and a half, and we've reached that point right before you guys came here. We reached that point where the supplements weren't working. We keep them up, but they weren't working. And we're trying other things now as well, and we're seeing her go off her food because she is associating additional supplements with her food and she doesn't like that. The thing that I do like about the bed is that it's not something that she has to ingest, and it's not something that she has to associate with something else. Like at the moment we're seeing the supplement association with the food, so now we don't want to eat our food as much because we don't like the way that the supplement tastes or the way that with the bed there's no negative association. It's not turning her off her food. It's not turning her off the stairs. It's not, creating these ripple on effects that we then have like maybe another issue that we have to try and combat and deal with. It's just so easy. It's so easy. And we know she likes it because if she didn't, she wouldn't be on it. We wouldn't have 33,000 minutes. I might just say as my final thought that I would like to thank Dog Cloud for providing this product and creating this opportunity for people like myself who have a dog in their life, that's a true family member, and we're looking for solutions and nothing really seems to be working, and you've provided a solution to a problem, and I really appreciate that because you've kind of brought back our girl, and we're really thankful.